Askreddit by Delirium46. Have you ever listened to a person talk for less than a minute and known you weren't going to get along with that person? What did they say? Yes, this guy hopped into our Discord group a few months back. He was a friend of a friend, but he didn't think to just add him to our server, not our group chat. We all hop into a call and first thing he does is make some remarks that are very politically sensitive, sent some graphic photos and made some inappropriate remarks. Didn't expect to meet someone and have him offend 6 people in the span of 10 minutes. Are you sure you're not just jealous of his efficiency and multitasking skills? Told me yeah, all women are bitches, you included. No offense, within the first 2 minutes of knowing me. Oh, none taken, you're clearly not the type of person whose opinion I care about. Parent of one of my kids' friends at school said there was a mouse in their house and his wife wanted him to kill it, but he didn't want to kill any creatures, he wants to make friends with them instead. But wife insisted, so he threw his shoe at it and eventually managed to hit it, but it wasn't dead, so he threw his shoe at it another 4 times. It still wasn't dead, so he poured boiling water over it to kill it. It still didn't die, so he poured boiling water over it again. It still wasn't dead, so he decided to leave it alone in the hopes that it would peacefully pass away. The logic of being too squeamish to kill something, and instead decide to torture it to death slowly in the most agonizingly painful way, absolutely blew my mind. My cats were torturing a mouse and not killing it because cats are not human and such morals do not apply to them, I guess. Anyway, I felt so bad for the poor thing. I picked it up with a plastic bag and snapped its neck cause I couldn't stand to see it continue to suffer. Did I enjoy it? No. Do I like killing things? Hell no. But I'd rather give it a swift death than watch it suffer. It was honestly one of the harder things I've had to do, but I did it because I felt wrong doing nothing. Years ago, me and my ex-husband went to see a movie with an older colleague of his. Before the movie we had dinner at like a chain restaurant steakhouse type place. Staff on the floor was all 20ish. I never met this man before, but in the first few minutes of sitting down and looking at the menu he very confidently told us how he came there a lot and flirted with the female staff because they love the attention. The best part? His daughter worked there. All I could think was how I would literally cringe myself through the floor if I was 20 and my 50-year-old dad came into my place of work and perved on my co-workers because he didn't understand that they only put up with him cause they are paid to do so. My papa would come into the restaurant that I worked in. I usually was his server, but once someone else got his table, my co-workers would fight to take him. My papa was a funny dude that left enormous tips and joked with everyone around him that was cool with it. He was one of those tall skinny guys that just looks like a guy you could talk to. I remember I had told him about one of my co-workers having a rough time of it. He came in, specifically requested her and then left her $100 bill as a tip. When I got her, he asked if she had gotten the tip. Of course she had, and then broken down hugging me, telling me that my grandfather was the best person she'd ever met. She wasn't wrong. There are different levels to being a psychic. I'm on the purple level, so I can talk to the dead, said a new employee at my previous job. Nope. Oh, are you talking about D&D? I love fantasy stuff. They talk negatively about someone else in a very judgy way. There was this mom in my daughter's school who seemed to know everyone. She talked to me and she spoke so bad about these people. Then moments later I saw her interacting in a friendly way with those she was judging. My eyes rolled so much I could see my brain telling me not to get involved with her. And I was right, because by the time school year ends, her friends hated her and they were talking behind her back too. A girl that used to be my best friend is like this. It was the weirdest thing to see her bitch about all these people, then have Insta photos up a few days later with them. I didn't notice she did this until our friendship was on the line, so I asked other people if she did this and they said yes too. I know I'm not supposed to ask, but I need to know. It's not for work or anything. What religion are you, HR manager? I belong to the Church of Our Lady of Perpetual Lawsuits. New guy at work. First coffee break he started complaining about his ex who had full custody of the kids for some unknowable reason, and also how he'd like to slash her throat with a rusty knife. Nice to meet you too. Don't think I'll be taking breaks with you. It was nice of him to clear up why his wife divorced him and why he couldn't be with his kids. You don't scare me. Wasn't trying to scare you in the slightest. I was listening to the NEXIVM podcast and the clip of the founder saying he has 225 IQ. If I walked into a room and heard someone say that, I'd walk right back out. I used to brag about my IQ score. It was off of a free internet test. I was 40. I learned better. The quiet boy at school sat next to me and told me how hard he felt when he took a shit and how many times he ejaculated that way. I never sat next to him again. Are you from the UK and was the kid's name Chris? Some people might say I'm an asshole, but I just tell it how it is. 99% chance they're an asshole that I don't want to be around. A lot of people have told me I'm an asshole, and I've decided that it warrants no further self-reflection. Was a customer at work. Naturally I wouldn't be friends. But even in a setting where we could become friends, it wasn't happening. I came up to her to see if she had any questions about our critters. I work in a pet shop, and the very first thing she asked was if parakeets could talk because she wanted to teach them racial slurs. Biggest nope of my life. Imagine trying to explain to someone why your bird is racist. New guy at work. Super fake by being overly excited and super overly comfortable with everyone in the first minute. He's all mammy this and papy that to everyone and very overly touchy. We were almost all Hispanics there and everyone was uncomfortable. First phone call of the day, he hangs up cursing and taking it super personally that someone hung up on him. Daily occurrence in customer service. After about 6 months, I put in my 2 weeks notice solely because I couldn't work next door with him anymore. He would also get overly gossipy and personal. My boss rejected my notice and transferred him. He couldn't stand the guy either. No one could. Fuck, I had to scroll too far to see this. People who try to force best friend vibes with everyone have 100% turned out to be creeps or psychos in my life. Like, fucking chill. We don't know each other and that's fine. We don't need inside jokes on the first day. I'm not literally your spirit animal. Always comes off so transactional. Like, if I say the friendship things, I can get what I want from anyone, no. Let it happen naturally. If we vibe, we vibe. If we don't, cool. The new neighbor who after introducing himself pointed to his chest and says, "Instant asshole, just add beer." That's what the family says. Nah, we're not gonna be neighbor pals. Fuck you, you were an asshole even without beer. When people claim to be an asshole, believe them. Had just started a job, and within a minute of meeting one of my new colleagues he waxes lyrical about how weak it is that one of our other colleagues uses an inhaler, oblivious to the fact I myself use an inhaler, though my asthma is mild and well managed. Ironically, the shit-talking colleague in question had no discernible chin and looked very out of shape himself. Did he say it was weak, or did he say sucks to your ass much? I started my PhD a few months ago and one of the common starter conversation with postgraduates who just meet is, "What is your thesis about?" Well, I get asked the question first and after describing my dissertation theme, the other guy goes, "Oh, I see. Well, mine is actually important," with a very condescending tone. Well pal, fuck you too, I guess. Oh wow, this blew up. A few people have commented about what my thesis was about, so here is a brief overview. I aim to detect corrosion, specifically rust, using electrochemical sensors in nuclear plants' nuclear contaminated areas. Asked me, "Do you mind if smoke?" Then proceeded to take out a meth pipe. This is hilarious, but yeah, nah, not pal material. We had just moved into a new house. An older gentleman, he was 65 and I was 35 at the time, came across the street towards me and stuck out his hand. I shook it and he said, "We love new neighbors. As long as they're white." I guess I should be glad I can pass. I remember seeing someone for around 20 seconds. They didn't seem aware of my presence, and they were already making fun of me because I simply walked by. They made fun of other people too, but the fact that they just met someone and immediately targeted them for harassment is a red flag bigger than most polls can handle. He learned I'm a physicist, and immediately started talking about infinite energy. Like perpetual motion. You're late. I've been here for 10 minutes already. I was only 5 minutes late for the date because I was looking for parking and had let him know. In Germany this conversation wouldn't be noteworthy at all. Started at a new job, went for a team dinner, and the very first thing he did was talk about how bad the dating scene was in the city and how ugly all the women are. Dating scene was absolutely fine BTW. I pull out of the conversation and then he just continues to ramble on about how smart he is vs everyone else. Safe to say I've been avoiding him since. Asked a guy what he does at a business networking event. Well, I'm a chiropractor but looking to get out. How come? All these Me Too accusations. In another state I had 3 of them. Good thing none of them went to the bar. Edit. He probably said board instead of bar. As soon as he started complaining about Me Too accusations I pretty much tuned him out. Me at my first day on the job, on my lunch break. Co-worker, are you Chinese? Me, yeah. Co-worker, I don't like Chinese food, walks away. Don't eat me then. Literally last night, was at a local pool comp and went to introduce myself to my second round opponent. We shake hands and his first words to me are "weak fucking handshake bro," followed by "I hope you like banter mate," then proceeded to talk shit about every aspect of my game. The worst part was he was actually good at pool, so it just seems like he was generally a cunt. Some of his other opponents got it a lot worse than I did as well. Highlight of the night was when the comp host basically yelled in his face, "Everyone in this room fucking hates you," which received a round of applause. He didn't seem to understand why that was. Just banter bro. Edit. The comp is 90% regulars that are there every week. This was the guy's first time playing there. He knew no one except for the couple of mates he brought. I can assure people calling me a liar that he was universally hated. He ended up losing the final, which received more of a response than the host yelling at him, but yeah lol. I don't even know why I'm responding to this. I guess I have never had this much attention on anything I have ever